Okay, these are all real tweets. Brace yourselves and don't say that I didn't warn you. I hope they learn how to transplant uteruses. I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion. Holy shit. Listen, I've seen some dumbass takes on Twitter, but this shit is just plain evil. If a trans woman were able to get a womb transplant, right, a uterus transplant, they would not be able to get ovary transplants, which means the pregnancy would have to be planned, which means the termination of the pregnancy would also have to be planned. Fucking evil. And this has 20,000 likes. Do people somehow see this as a like act of bravery, as a, you know, a woman taking charge and control of their body? This ain't it, chief. Like, no, can we just not? My friend Yasmin made a really good point. She said, someone needs to look into the pathology of this. Some trans women want to be able to do everything a woman can do, even when it's undesirable things like getting their period or an abortion. They just can't stand that women can do things they never can. It's psychotic and obsessive jealousy. And I agree with her. I also think there's a ton of projection with a lot of these trans rights activists. Women around the world have been treated as sexual objects. Yet, if sexual objectification is so categorically awful, then why do I want it so badly? I want to be sexually objectified. The idea that being seen as a sex object is universally a bad thing is too simple, like many tenets of feminism. So according to Jacob, being a woman is equal to being sexually objectified. This is coming from the same person, by the way, that believed them and their friend Alok were capable of attracting straight men, even though they didn't, and then were confused as to why they weren't attracting straight men on dating apps. But like, you have no primary or secondary female sex characteristics. But let's continue. There is something about being treated like shit by men that feels like affirmation itself, like a cry of delight from the deepest cavern of my breast. To be the victim of honest, undisguised sexism possesses an exhilarating vitality. Okay, so let's get this straight. Not only is being a woman being sexually objectified, but it's also being treated shit like men. Okay, let's continue. The assimilation of any erotic image is, by nature, female. To be female is, in every case, to become what someone else wants. At bottom, everyone is a sissy. I literally don't even know what that means, and I'm not even like making that up. The asshole is a universal vagina. What? Through which femaleness can always be assessed. I think I understand kind of where these people are trying to go with this idea, kind of. Because at the moment, obviously, being sexually objectified and usually being treated worse than is a very societal experience when it comes to being a woman. But should it be? And should we be perpetuating the idea that this is a good thing? It's weird to me because it feels like these people are either being turned on by it or are experiencing gender euphoria because of it, which is just bizarre to me. Like, I don't think anyone's gender should be affirmed by being treated like shit by society. Let's just continue. This is a quote by the same person, by the way. Fucking wild. In fact, to be a sissy is to always lose your mind. The technical term for this is bimbofication. Why do I like the concept of being a bimbo? Even the GIF format itself communicates this. A kind of centrifuge for distilling the femaleness to its barest essentials. An open mouth, an expectant asshole, and blank eyes. What the fuck did I just read? Being told the definition of a woman is being a vessel for desire is not progressive. It's just not. Can we stop lifting up these crazy trans people and start lifting up sane, logical, empowered, non-victimized women? Please, for 2021, that's my wish. Can we do that? This way of thinking, in my opinion, just reinforces sexism and misogyny. Side note, how the fuck are none of these people canceled yet? Like, I've been canceled like 30 times and these people have not been canceled somehow. The world is backwards at the moment. Honestly. Okay, let's read another quote. Pornography is what it feels like when you think you have an object, but really the object has you. It is therefore a quintessential expression of femaleness. Getting fucked makes you female because fucked is what a female is. Okay, so these people are fetishizing rape, happy to be treated like shit, and are objectifying women, all in the name of self-validation. Getting fucked makes you female? What the hell is I'm done. Fucking done. So this was actually a part of a conversation of a thread on Twitter that I happened to come across, and somebody said this: every single quote in this thread sounds exactly what a sick, perverted, oppressive, sexist, misogynistic, patriarchal man would say while pretending to be a woman. These are not women's voices, nor do they represent the majority of trans women's voices either. And I agree with that. I don't think most of these, in my opinion, crazy trans activists represent the way most trans women think, act, and live their lives. So my question is, why are they constantly being propped up by the LGBT community, by media, by leftist activists. Why are we propping up the crazies? Let's read another quote, shall we? While I never really believed the cliche about women being only good for one thing, I found that sentiment kept creeping into my fantasies. I would imagine myself being sold into sex slavery and having strange men take advantage of me. It's called forced feminization, and it's not really about sex. It's about turning the humiliation you feel into pleasure, transforming the loss of male privilege into the best fuck ever. I'm thinking because feminism is so in right now, which is great, but the thing is, if it were actually about feminism, it would be about being female and the struggles that come with being a female and being seen as a woman in society. But instead we have this, intersectionality. Basically, Dr. Claire Jones said this perfectly. In order to be a feminist, you need to be the type of feminist that does the feminism that serves male interests. The thing is, if you need to say that gender and sex are the same thing, if you keep controlling speech and language, and change laws that are protecting sex-based rights, that shit ain't inclusive at all. Like, I'm just being real with you. But wait, there's more. Trans women are biologically female, and those of us with dicks are even more biologically female. And if you want to argue, you are biologically a trash bag. In fact, I'm not just a lesbian that also likes dick. I'm a lesbian because I love dick. Bite on that, terps, die and go to hell. Okay, a lot to unpack here, pun intended. Level-headed trans guys will get that joke, but probably not that many. 1, trans women are not biologically female. Since they are genetically, brain-wise wired differently, I'm willing to say that they are genetically and biologically trans women, but they are never female, and that's just the truth. Because if that were true, then I, as a female, could also be a trans woman, and we know that that's not possible. Also, not sure that somebody can transition from female to female, although I'm sure the progressive left thinks that they can. Here's a screenshot of that. Also, this just in, scissoring is now considered trans-misogynistic and bioessentialist. Literally, I don't even know what bioessentialism is. Like, I'm guessing that it means people that are born the gender and sex that they identify as think that they're better than people that aren't? Like, what? I don't like scissoring because I'm a bioessentialist. I like scissoring because it feels good sometimes if it's done right. Well, tribbing, not scissoring, but that's another video. If a woman has a penis, her penis is a biologically female penis. Female penis. Female penis. This is important because this isn't some random chick on Tumblr that's just like bitching up a storm. This is India Moore, who is a very well-known trans woman actor who got her fame for being on Pose, which I actually really like that series, but I just can't stand her and her activism. I hate that the argument that these trans activists usually go to is that cis people are threatened by trans people. No, like, I'm here, I don't feel threatened by trans women, but what I am threatened and I'm worried about is when some of these social practices are put into law, and those laws that are created can be damaging and worrisome for biological women. A lot of trans rights activists are gonna watch this video and say, Ariel, why do you keep making videos about trans people? You hate trans people. Because trans people aren't exempt from criticism. We treat people equally here. If a trans person or the trans community starts doing some dumb shit, we're gonna call it out and have a conversation about it. It's that simple. Now, in saying all of this, there are some very amazing, logical, sane trans creators on this platform. I will link to a bunch of them in the description below, because as much as I believe that it is important to call out the bullshit, it is also equally as important to lift people who have important voices that I think are great. So go and check them out in the description below. Other than that, Lord, we need help. Let's just, there's a lot going on. If you are not subscribed to my channel already, be sure to click the subscribe button down below, because we are basically the lesbian damage control in response to the crazy activists at the moment. I will see you guys back here in a few days with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Bye.